So yeah, today we're gonna finish the Space Brothers haha funny stream. I know there's copyright music here.
All tell that
Yep, that's Star Wars, all right.
the keepers of the higher
Yep, that's Star Wars music, all right. And that's a UFO. I want to believe.
light ships, in order to
Oh boy, we're already off to a great start with Star Wars. Hiya, Cosby. Hiya, Cosby. We're already at the Star Wars theme. Me
into
too.
Earth and warned the governments.
Warned the governments, he says. Flying.
In 1950, members of the Galactic Confederation met.
Okay, I'm gonna have to ask you a question. I'm gonna skip. We're just gonna skip to here and hope that this man with his eyebrows does not have the Star Wars theme.
At that point, of course, a boarding party was ventured inside the craft, and they found 5 bodies.
5
Bodies
bodies.
were diminutive in nature.
Diminutive, they
were
say.
basically humanoid.
Humanoid, they say. Oh, hey, it's
It was evident
bootleg
to the
Homelander
experts of the
again.
Confederation that all governments are a manifestation of the material powers. Indeed,
Okay.
they immediately imposed strict secrecy about the meetings. They
Okay.
threatened people, including their own
They
employees,
threaten us.
in order to enforce the secrecy.
Sure, whatever. Sure,
At the
this,
peak of the Dark Age,
we're
the
really
Congress
getting
started
bootleg
to identify
Homelander a lot
citizens,
now.
Scientists and artists.
Yes, I know they're meant to be Nordic aliens. Yes, I'm aware that they're meant to be Nordic aliens, but you can't tell me that this isn't just some sort of... They look like bootleg Homelander. How have you been? How's your day been? I heard about the gutters you got fixed, well, that fell off your house or whatever. I'm sorry, Cosby.
As well as the Ashtar command.
Ashtar!
And
This fucking... This fucking... this... This fucking...
belong to the Galactic Confederation. Planetary is to protect the evolution and development of planets of lower dimensions from global destruction. They are only officially permitted to land.
Was that a Star Trek TNG teaser? I am the Space Brother. I'm the goddamn Space Brother. I can do what I want.
They're allowed to intervene if the whole planet is faced with global destruction.
Oh, well, right now, the Space Brothers could sure be help us right about now, is all I'm saying. Yep, that's Star Trek music. I know Star Trek. Oh, hey, it's these guys again. The really positive, nice people.
Experience back in Highbridge, New Jersey.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question. I'm sorry I'm pausing because we have so much we need to get through to this. But is it me? Is it me, or does this guy kind of look like an older version of D.B. Cooper with his sunglasses on? Right? Oh, it's the cutest part.
And beautiful, angelic beings came out. They reminded me of angels. In fact, they reminded me of my wife.
Oh, that's adorable. That's sweet. I love that.
They came out and they gave me a message of love and peace and compassion. That we should change our consciousness, raise it on this earth to love and compassion. Stop killing each other.
Stop
in
it.
the name of all these
Get some
gods.
help.
Be good to each other. I listened, and I felt very, very good. I asked where they were from. They said they had come from the vicinity of the planet of Venus. They were golden-haired people. with gold eyes, light blue, and between 5, 6, and 6 feet tall. And the message, they said, was given to us, to the people of Earth, in many Bibles. Many Bibles. It's in our scriptures. They came here
Of course, this
thousands of
documentary
years
is the
ago,
guy I would
and
want to
all our
must go with.
Bibles have their
You know, I would not
message.
mind going to Waffle House with this guy. He's got positive vibe energies, like you said. He seems like a nice fella. He seems like he would tip well too.
To what Moses told us, what Allah told us, what Jesus told us.
Like what? We don't know what?
But listen, if we would follow the rules and do what the scripture
One of those guys is might be the same guy as the other guy.
peace and harmony on this planet.
The Galactic Confederation has developed a galactic rescue plan.
A galactic rescue plan. I could sure use a galactic rescue plan.
And environmental protection.
Oh, this music sounds copyrighted.
In case of a global destruction by an atomic holocaust,
Atomic.
or of a violent magnetic pole flip, millions of people will be evacuated in spaceships.
I don't believe that.
During such action, over 10 million flying saucers would be sent out from the motherships. And people
From the
who are not
motherships.
afraid would be pulled on board through levitation beams.
Through levitation beams.
The spiritual keepers knew that with the beginning of the atomic age, mankind had arrived at the peak of the Dark Age. The climax of the separation had been reached. The new plan for mankind is the ascension and resurrection of mankind. The awakening and overcoming of the separation should replace Earth consciousness. Worldwide spiritual trance mediums were selected to receive these messages through telepathy or precipitation transmission in order for these mediums to spread the message of the
Me too, it's nice. I'm gonna leave Rogue here, just because, you know, we're gonna take us for a ride. Gonna take it for a ride. Also, goddamn Capcom, why did you have to give Rogue that much cake? Capcom. Oh wow, this is psychedelic right here.
The Pleiadians have always
The
worked
Pleiadians.
through me and around me as a presence.
Oh god, it's this
I
woman
do
again.
not have, what
It's
we
this
most
woman
people call
again.
Physical contact. I've never really seen ships. Even though in 1981, when I was living
Can we go back to the
in
positive guy and his positive
I
wife?
awoke from a sleep
I
study,
like them. They seem
in-
like
in
friendly
complete
folk.
panic, because there were 3 blue extraterrestrials in my bedroom hovering or putting their hands above my bed. So
At least she's not
I
doing
had
a
that
weird
contact
voice.
in
Yeah, you got a point
1981,
there.
And I never
Was that
forgot
just
it.
oh,
They
whoa,
labeled
whoa,
it
whoa,
for
whoa?
putting their hands above me.
Is this like a blow mold of a human head? Are they trying to say that this is like one of those crystal skulls? Are you trying to tell me this is one of those crystal skulls video on the internet here?
I never forgot it. I labeled it a dream, but I always knew it wasn't a dream. And the beings were small and very bright blue and
Okay.
wide,
Okay, fair enough.
and when I began channeling the Pleiadians, I remembered that event in 1981, and I knew that extraterrestrials, that other life forms were real. And that's what gave me the courage, the belief to allow these
James
beings
Cameron's
who said they were
app-tapped
ethnic
reel.
bodies to speak through me. During the course of our friendship and our sharing of my body, they've taught me so many things. And what I'm wanting to share with you today is that the search for extraterrestrials that people are impulsed to follow is a search that's very complex. It's not necessarily spaceships appearing in the skies or beings landing or showing up in your bedroom.
Kind of want
What I'm
orange juice
discovering
now.
is that the merging
Kind of want some
with
orange
the
juice.
gods
And I don't even
returning,
really like
gods
orange
returning
juice all that
to
much
Eden
because no matter how pulp-free
has to
they
do
say it
with
is,
an infusion
there's
of
still
our
pulp.
consciousness,
Oh,
understanding
that's Egypt.
that other forms of intelligence can
That is not
blend
Egypt.
their consciousness with ours. We can learn to blend ours with theirs, and we come into
Yeah,
a
okay,
whole
sure, whatever.
new
Blending of
level
consciousnesses.
operating on the planet. The basic message that the Pleiadians that work through me offer is that thought creates reality. They say they come from the future.
Look, if thought created reality, I'd be
Have
6
learned
foot
how
tall.
to penetrate,
Well, no, wait, never mind.
what
I'd
they
be
call
6'5",
time,
and I'd have $1
and
billion
to predict
and a
the weathering
giant
of
robot
time.
dinosaur
And they
as my
come into
best
our
friend.
reality
I'm
to
only
teach
one of these
us
things.
about
I'm only
something
6 foot
that we
tall.
need to change, that
I
we
don't
need
have a
to
robot
implant,
dinosaur as a best friend.
within our,
I don't have $1
within our
billion.
basic
I've
values of
tried.
life.
I've tried to make this a
And
reality.
this is what they've
Now that
given
this
me,
has
the
happened, I'm
gift that they've
sorry.
given me, a restructuring, a revaluing of who I am. It's not been easy.
If I could make my thoughts into reality, I would
I've changed
create
so
an
much
inexpensive
that
Showa
sometimes
Geigen
it's
Marvel
very difficult for
Monster
me
Arts. Brain
to
fart. I am
relate
sorry.
to
I apologize.
people
I need to
and
stop.
the
I'm sorry.
ideas that they have not questioned over the years. The ideas that are instilled with us from the time we're children based on fear,
No, 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 no,
our
no,
religious
no.
institutions, our educational systems. They never teach us
They never
to
teach
honor and
us
love ourselves and to
what?
understand the mystery of the body first, and then understand that the mystery of the body and the mind ends up reflecting
But what
itself
about
and
the
creating itself
what
in the
about the
outside
Space
world.
Brothers?
Part of my instruction at this time has been to speak openly.
Space Brothers, please bring us Showa Monster Arts. That would be nice for the Space Brothers to do that, wouldn't it?
That there is this infusion of off-planetary intelligence coming to merge with our consciousness.
I'm just gonna let Goku spin here.
Many of these beings have no idea how to make contact with us because we've been so programmed to fear and programmed to interpret what we don't understand as something that would be bad. And unfortunately,
You know what? I think I've said
lost in
this
a
before, but
paradigm
this woman would probably
of
make
being the most
a
intelligent
killing
species
doing
that exists.
ASMR videos
And
on
I
YouTube
believe
if
it
she
was
if
one
she's
of
still
millions and
alive.
billions.
If you're
And
still
we've
alive
begun
out there,
to
alien
open
channeling
the
woman,
doorways that
know
will
that you
connect
could
us
be
to other
make a
planes of
lot of
light,
money doing
gently,
ASMR
and
videos
sometimes
on the
more than
YouTube.
gently, sometimes with great collision. These
On the
avenues of light,
YouTube
these
video game.
avenues of
Oh, wait,
thought
there's
are being
Donkey Kong. I'm
opened
just gonna leave him
so
dancing.
that we can change.
No, 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 no,
I
no,
feel that
no, no,
I'm an
no.
example, I'm a forerunner for what's going to happen to much of the population.
Yeah, yeah.
Knowing that
Why are we showing us Mormon Jesus and Mormon Jesus with tits?
the Confederation resorted to a much more extensive assistance scheme. After consultation with the spiritual hierarchies and the cosmic
Is this Mike Soriyama's art? They're showing us Mike Soriyama and his sexy robot time.
intelligences, known as archangels, a common plan was developed with the Archangel Michael.
Okay,
to
sure.
send his legions of light workers to incarnate on Earth.
Okay, sure.
Voluntary extraterrestrials of all planetary hierarchies within our Milky Way
Okay.
helped heal the Earth with the release of a new consciousness on the planet, leading us back
Okay,
to
sure.
expand the awareness of the planetary Christ, or
Want to make sure I heard that correctly.
on Earth. Voluntary extraterrestrials of all planetary hierarchies within our Milky Way helped heal the Earth with the release of a new consciousness on the planet, leading us back to expand the awareness.
Abuenas. I hear abuena. I hear Mexican grandma. I know it's not the word they're going for, but I just want to hear. I'm sorry.
First, ascended masters who once
Your
left
own
Atlantis
personal
decided to
space
incarnate again,
brother.
as well as countless volunteers of higher planetary hierarchies, to begin the return of the White Brotherhood on Earth. An old Bible prophecy tells of the last battle on Earth, where the Archangel Michael leads his
Mecha
legions
Shiva.
into the battle
Mecha
against the
Shiva.
unconscious. In 1960, the first voluntaries began to incarnate on Earth with the help of the spiritual worlds in order to prepare for the coming of the legions. The legions would incarnate from about 1970 onwards, if the vibration of the planet was slightly raised in order to change the world from within.
The role of the light workers in this transition upon the planet Earth is quite varied.
Oh God, it's another soft-spoken person. Boy,
Basically,
howdy.
I think we've come to understand that the new millennium, the golden age, is not going to occur through some angelic force stepping down from heaven, waving a magic wand and transforming the planet. This change will come about through a shift in conscious awareness, through a change in our own individual perception. And many of us are now working to bring this change into
Okay, sure,
fruition.
yeah, whatever. You
The
go have
main
fun
work
there.
that we have now is to simply allow our being to be so perfectly in tune with divine will, with the higher energies.
You
that
have
we
fun
allow
there.
ourselves just vessels like the Holy Grail for these energies to flow through and manifest upon this plane. So in other words, I guess all changes come from cleaning up your own backyard.
Fly me
and for
to
simply
the Space
allowing the
Brothers.
light to really shine
Let me
forth
gaze
and
upon the
trigger
fifth
that new light in
dimension.
the hearts of all.
Each of the millions of extraterrestrial volunteers.
There we go. Is this better? Is the video not stuck anymore?
In the most diverse areas of science and in the art of living.
Yeah, I can see why. I can see why.
Call went out into the subconscious of these beings, who were the unconscious carriers of
Oh my sweet God in heaven,
healers.
Look,
Therapists,
this is going to be the last video of this I'm not doing anymore.
workers, living quantum accelerators are cleaning the earth. They are the teachers who spend
Sure,
their
living
lives
quantum
after
accelerators. I'm not going to even question
they are
it.
spiritual teachers.
The insanity that has already been spouted throughout this entirety of this
Consciously or unconsciously
movie.
introduce the new age and raise the frequency of the planet.
Like, if I had a drink for every time
That are part of the
something scientifically inaccurate was said during this movie, I would have been dead within, like, 20 minutes.
Or read about UFO, and I had an experience on a ski holiday at the Tauchen Lake in Salzburg.
I would have been dead in 20 minutes if I took a drink every time they said something scientifically inaccurate.
In the evening, I went to bed and I prayed. I cannot even say how this sort of thing happens. Then there were 6 round flying objects, and out of each of these round flying objects shone a beam of light. In that moment, the beam of light intensified, and I was afraid. My fear was so strong that I was paralyzed, but at the same time, I also felt bliss. Then the beam hit my head, through the eyes and the forehead, and it felt like my head was bursting. And again I had a strong pain and a feeling of bliss. And the spiritual realization that
Is the video not stuck anymore?
a communication, and
'Cause that does bother me.
We are energy, and if you hold as much energy as we do, we will come.
Okay,
and
I don't know
take you
why the
on
video
way.
is getting... Is it me or is this woman? Because of the way the quality of the video is, that she looks like she's kind of been stung by bees.
I always
I'm
kept
sorry
my
if this
bed in
is
bed.
just how it
If you do
feels.
not mind me saying so. The temperature was minus 15 degrees. I went outside onto the balcony, and I was pulled up into the starry sky.
Ah, okay, groovy.
I did not feel a cold, nothing.
Well, I
My
don't know
husband
how to
said that
fix
for
that. I'm
3
sorry.
For 3
The
days, I
chat
was
lag,
able to
I don't know how to
sleep,
fix.
but I was like paralyzed, like
Your
totally
own...
absent.
Let me...
I could not
We're gonna
think.
try to fix the chat lag here on the Xolta Haha Funny stream. One moment while I try to fix that. Chatbot lag. Okay, let's see. Oh, gravy. Disables text characters, browser settings, settings with the lag. I'm sure there's some kind of setting that I don't... Yeah. Okay, let me just see if there's any... Oh boy, I love this. I love settings. Delayed messages, delete. Yeah, I don't know what's causing this lag. I'm sorry. This is beyond my technical understanding.
This message, which I had been given.
This
And
is
as I
understand
said,
my
at
technical
the time,
understanding.
I had
I'm
neither
sorry.
read nor heard anything about UFOs. Later, when I had moved to Solar, I had a further experience. Again, it was before midnight. Something pulled me out of my body. I really saw how a force pulled me out of my body, and then it
Horse.
spoke in me, Rolf. That is
Hort.
the name of my husband. Together we have decided to further realize ourselves in the Christ consciousness, in his love and in his wisdom, and that is why I was allowed to remain here, although I had the feeling that I had already been taken away at the time.
I'm getting tired of this
With the
sermoning.
return of the Lightworkers, all the lost knowledge of the secret sciences will return to Earth.
Sure.
The ancient knowledge about crystals, healing, colors, and sounds.
Yeah,
herbs
good
and
luck with
flower
that, buddy.
essence, as well as electromagnetism will return. But this knowledge will only be a temporary concept until human beings achieve their own true completion. Different seeds of stars choose a much more difficult path. Since Atlantis, they have incarnated many times up to this century. They were students of the Light Masters from Atlantis and descending extraterrestrials. These souls were magicians, witches, healers, high priests, and the initiated of many centuries. They descended long ago to be a light for mankind on their path of darkness. They were often persecuted,
Yep.
killed, silenced, and laughed at because of their knowledge of the higher truth.
Yep.
They swam like fish against the currents of humanity.
Yep.
You are a member of a Rosicrucian secret society. Yes, it is the Rosicrucian Order, or Amok. It is the only official and
Amok?
true one. It was founded 3,500 years ago here in Egypt.
Amok?
The teachings are of Hermes Trismegistus. The entire spiritual line, let's say, is laid in order to find the path to God. Everyone has to find his path.
Oh boy.
These
Look, I don't
teachings
need
are
this.
pure and real, and they are constantly updated, scientifically, and let's say also on a spiritual level.
This woman looks like she would be the head of a punk band.
Do you see a relationship between the contact to extraterrestrials and your religious coalition? Not directly. I think that if all human beings have a straight path to God, all this will fall into place. I do not think that human beings can determine it themselves. Somehow, they are chosen.
Your own personal Rose
That the
Crux.
extraterrestrials are observing certain people or souls here on this planet, and that they are then chosen as messengers.
Okay, so the aliens are watching us
in order to
jerk
bring the
off.
message
Good to
to
know,
them.
Space Brothers.
Yes, they have confirmed this to me.
The Space
They
Brothers are
observers.
watching us
Then they
jerk
talk
off.
people and give them instructions.
Even during this century, great thinkers using holistic techniques, such as Nikola Tesla, Wilhelm Reich, Victor Schauberger, and many others have been persecuted and silenced
Schaubergers.
by the lodges because of their inventions using free energy. The first group of these seeds of stars were wounded many times during their battle to slowly raise mankind out of its spiritual darkness. The first seeds were of great help during the first phase of ascension, bringing breakthroughs in the thinking of humanity. They were the geniuses of this century.
Well, yes, the technical information.
Oh, thank God, it's this guy again.
In early life is coming out now, and they said it would come out over the years as time went by. And I'm working on a portable AC/DC power pack, which would be good for all the people. Have plenty of electricity, no problems, and also a large one for a home, 15,000 watt power pack, which would power a home, air conditioning, and everything. Also an electric car. We're working on that. And,
Wow, an electric car!
See some engineers in the near
Wow, an electric car! Amazing! Imagine the space future. Imagine the space future of the electric car.
100 miles. And we plan to put
Imagine the space future of an electric car.
Minivan for a family to go from one point to another. And also, my favorite goal is to build a 40-foot electrocraft, electrodynamic propulsion. No gasoline,
So you want to build a
no jet
train.
fuel. But the
You want to
people
build a
who
train that
give us the
levitates on
the
magnets, say
fuel and
maglev, if you
the
will.
gasoline and oil won't lose anything
Fascinating. A
because
maglev
it's
train, you
taking your
say.
job to
Fascinating.
create this craft, the
I'm
parts
being a
that are
little
used on
asshole
this
now. I'm
craft.
getting spicy. I'm
And
sorry.
people would even get richer. The oil men would even get richer with this product. So there's no problem there of destroying what is already here. We're just going into something which is better and will not pollute the earth.
Oh, I'm being an
There's no
asshole then.
pollution.
I'm sorry.
Uh, After, not too long a time, they will come down and they will see us all. And we're expecting that. But we have to raise our consciousness to the point where they are not coming down and talking to savages. They want to talk to good
The
people
wind.
that don't kill each other. Then they will come down and we can join them in peace and harmony.
Today, all of them are incarnating for the last time to accompany mankind on its last phase of ascension. They were prepared for this time during many previous lifetimes in order to help all people to become masters themselves. The time has come for you to wake up to the fact that you, by your own choice, will serve mankind.
Yeah, me too. I
Millions
hope
of
I can
beings
shave.
show unconditional love. Thus they will raise vibrations simply by their presence, so that the purification process will start. And spiritually, no stone will be left unturned.
What I share with you today, maybe it plants some idea inside
Oh, it's
of you,
ASMR
maybe it
word,
registers someplace.
warrior lady.
It's something that you already
Light
know.
worker
Maybe
reincarnating
it
for the
calls
last time.
to
Order for
awaken
low price
yourself,
free
and
free
maybe you're
shipping
afraid,
before
maybe you
Christmas.
understand it. Maybe you're concerned that you'll change too much.
Thank you. That made me laugh, Cosby.
I believe in change.
Thank you.
And I believe that the
That made me
survival of
laugh.
species
Thank you.
and the transformation of the planet
My dog is
involves tremendous
barking.
change.
Little Oliver's barking.
The message that the Pleiadians give is one of understanding the isolation that the human species has been
Palladians.
locked within. They call the present version of the human species modern man, saying that basically we spring from an experiment that began about 500,000 years ago,
Sure, yeah.
and that the gods that created us are
Yeah, sure.
extraterrestrial beings who in reality have forgot their own gods.
Yeah, sure.
These extraterrestrial beings are going through their own process of change at this time. And because they created us, because we're a part of how they learn, we're involved and they're involved in this time of coming together. What the Pleiadians have taught me is that this coming together, this collapsing of time, this merging of consciousness that's taking place between all species on the Earth plane has to do with
The Earth
something that is
plane.
going to create, let me see how I can put it, a new geometric thought form, a new
Okay, that's nice, lady.
being that's literally going to move through our universe and change the entire course of our universe. They have told me and told the people that they speak to that the human species genetically has very different organizational structure than we've been led to believe. They said that the evolving human, the human that will emerge on this planet, will have 12 strands of genetic material, and these 12 strands of DNA will activate within the human full brain capacity. This is something that is quite a lot to consider, and yet I can say in the last few years of working with these energies that the process has begun to take place inside of me. I've changed. I have abilities that I did not have before. I have understandings that I never had before, and I have assistance that's
Bop,
based
bop,
on
bop, bop, bop,
non-physical
bop,
presence.
da 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 da
So
da.
it's with me. And I feel that the message I'm led to share with you is that these beings are around all of us. and that if you would relax, and if you reconsider who you are, you can open to this very wonderful.
Yeah, I've reconsidered it, and yeah, I'm still made out of meat and still an animal. Sorry, lady.
Only a few of these people with a higher understanding are conscious of where their soul originates from. When entering space and
This
time,
music
they lose their
music
consciousness.
sounds
By
copyrighted.
increasing the level of vibration, they will all remember their true identity.
React? No. No, I will not, Babyverse. We're reacting to this.
Holding the attention
We're
of
reacting to
all
this.
the
We're reacting to this here Funny Atlantis thing.
their spiritual and physical
We're doing the Funny Atlantis. I'm sorry.
In the next 20 years, groups of people will ascend 3 times and be
I like this
spiritually
music, though. It's very
Their
soothing.
subatomic vibration will be raised.
Subatomic vibrations.
To such a level
I'm
that they will no
feeling
longer
good
experience death and
vibrations.
disease. Indeed, death, age, and illness are experiences of duality in third dimension.
Yeah, that's what you say. Whatever.
This spiritual and physical resurrection coincides with our contact with the light ships of the Galactic Federation.
Okay, yeah, no, this is definitely copyrighted music.
The ascension of the sixth root race. The sea
This is copyrighted music. Definitely copyrighted music. Ugh. This is copyrighted music. I can feel it in my brain. Look, I know copyrighted music when I hear it. And this is copyrighted music. So, yeah, sorry about that. Okay, just gotta make sure this music is not copyrighted. Okay, yep, it's this woman again.
The planet Earth is receiving higher energies at this point in her evolution.
That's nice.
Consequently,
Higher
the
energies.
aging process, labor pains, earthquakes, disasters, etc. Due to these changes, and what's activating these
Yep.
changes is higher energies coming into the planet.
Yeah, that's a
And
thing,
these
alright.
energies are also activating changes within every human being. These energies are also activating energy matrices that already lie within the very various levels and energy fields of our body, of our being, and the light body is being created quite naturally as it responds, as we respond to being beings who live within the energy fields of planet Earth.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever. Energy fields, planet Earth. We've all heard this. The Space Brothers, the Galactic Brotherhood, the Galactic Federation,
Through consciousness, through where we are choosing to align.
12 color theory, magnets, higher energies, dimensions. It's all so here. I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to be an asshole. I'm going to be nice and kind and calm and be... This really kind of makes me wish that these people wrote a science fiction book, because boy howdy, these people could write a really amazing, really interesting science fiction / RPG series.
Parts of their brain. We are going through a huge shift in consciousness. It's obvious on the physical plane. And it's
I
obvious
really
on the
feel like they
spiritual
could have
plane.
made an incredible RPG / sci-fi storyline, and I will not change the meaning of the colors. I will not do that. I'm sorry.
Consciously ascending humans
Okay, this sounds copyrighted. I'm just gonna let the happy, smiling people. You know, they seem happy.
united meditation.
They seem happy. This person seems nice and happy. Look at them. They're all happy.
The results of this harmonious convergence were
I don't know if this music is copyrighted. I'm sorry if I'm coming off as an asshole.
started. World peace and mankind's yearning for harmonious change reflected the tremendous
Harmonious
energies
change.
on Earth. The children of the light, as incarnated humans, helped these energies via meditation into mankind's collective subconscious. This energy is the first beam of light which Earth has received from the central sun of our spiritual origin.
What? What does that even
On
mean?
the 10th of January, 1991, at 11:11 a.m., the magnetic...
There are
needles of the
3
fourth
books, but only
dimension
one got...
became
Oh!
activated.
Oh, well, that's
The
interesting.
children of the
Thank you for
light
letting me know this,
gathered by the
Cosby.
thousands in geomantic energy sites on
Thank you
Earth,
for letting me know
also
this.
called the chakras of the Earth.
On January 11th, 1992, hundreds of thousands of people gathered together all over the planet in groups large and small and performed a series of unified movements, and together we opened the doorway of the 1111. Now, ever since we first came to planet Earth, we've been evolving along a spiral of evolution that was anchored in duality. And this is the very first time the activation of the 1111 has given us the opportunity to move to another.
Look, it's been like 30 years. The Space Brothers haven't
When
come.
we opened that door on January 11th, 1992, it created a zone of overlap between two very different spirals of evolution. We have 20 years until December 31st, 2011 to move through this zone of overlap for those of us who now choose to graduate from duality and move into oneness.
Yeah, none of that has happened. I'm sorry.
Now graduating from duality. And as I said, moving into oneness, we're moving into new octaves of awareness. We're moving out of the patterns of dimensions.
Remember in January 11th when we all shifted our octaves to the higher dimensions?
Now the planet Earth is coming through the doorway with us, and it's going to be shedding its skin at some time before the doorway closes at the end of 2011. And we'll find that all the layers of illusion, all the layers of pollution, all the layers of disease on this planet, everything that was based in duality will be dissolving away from the Earth, and the Earth will arrive on the other side of the doorway with the ones.
Oh, yeah, that definitely happened. Yeah, that was definitely gonna happen.
Because of the opening of the 1111, we're now living in very, very interesting times in which we have a superimposition of two very different worlds, that which is based in duality and that is based in oneness. And every day we're faced with choices of where are we going to anchor our being, in duality or in oneness. We also find that everything is new as we move into this new spiral of oneness. We find that
I don't know if this is the same information. Well, thank you for letting me know nonetheless. While while I think this is kind of a bunch of bullshit and hokum and kind of woo-woo mysticism, it's interesting and fascinating to see this because it kind of gives... Right now her speech gives me a sort of 90s optimism that just does not exist anymore. This sort of optimism really does feel like it sort of ended around the mid 2000s.
Comes alive, that there is a new gridwork.
That's just me being not an asshole. I'm sorry if I'm being an asshole nonetheless.
And as more and more of us activate and step into position, it becomes a whole radiant new star.
They began to acupuncture the Earth with dances of the sun. The rituals happened at the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, in Tibet, Glastonbury in England, in Arizona, Argentina and New Zealand. Around the planet, the activation of the gates to ascension was launched by the incarnated angels and extraterrestrials, accompanied by awakened ascending humans. The conscious activation of the master grid nets inevitably will lead to the Earth ascension into the
That's fair. The vibes are immaculate. I will give you that much.
But it wasn't only the incarnated extraterrestrials who started the acupuncture of Earth's geomantic power centers, distributing wise information and ascension.
This music feels copyrighted.
Starborn. What are the Starborn people? They are the so-called Starborn people. They do not come from the Earth, but from outer space, and they are aware of their origin. These people incarnated here onto this Earth at this point in time in order to fulfill the duty of which I have already spoken, and in order to do the work within the agreement to incarnate. Where does the knowledge of the Starborn people come from? Do they get the knowledge from their inner self or from some religion? Where does it come from? This knowledge comes essentially from their inner self because they have awakened in this time and they are receiving the inner images or messages. This knowledge is also transmitted immediately to those who are not quite ready yet to find their own in themselves. Later, they are able to find their own path. Is it true that the people who meet here are from different countries?
No, I will not explain the Fin-Fin.
Religious denomination? Is it also
I will
true
not
that
explain
these people
Fin-Fin.
who have felt intuitively or telepathically compelled to meet in these powerful places of the world on this day? Yes, that is right. I do not belong to any religion.
Fin-Fin goes to the fifth... You know what? That seems like that was happening in that game. If you've never seen or ever seen any bit of Fin-Fin, Fin-Fin is a weird virtual pet game from the 90s where you basically just interact with a weird dolphin bird while ambient music plays in the background, and it is a weird little artifact because you had a microphone which you could interact with, Fin-Fin. Bart, he's your best friend, always reminds me of that meme thing from whatever video game. I get what you're saying, yeah. That's not even in the game. That! So, Fin-Fin was so popular in Japan, he actually had his own dance song created for him. That is from the dance song created for him because he was that popular. Fin-Fin!
And turns ever faster, finally moving upwards like a light post.
One day I want to get Fin-Fin working on my computer so that I can play that game and just kind of zone out with Fin-Fin on the planet Teo.
Could we say that the Earth is being acupunctured? Yes, we could compare it to acupuncture. It is a good image.
But getting an old Windows 90-something game working on a modern computer, especially one that was designed for, like, old-ass microphone gaming,
They sent, or rather beamed, the information of the ascension and the resurrection.
sounds like it'll be a pain in my ass and everything. I'm sorry. He doesn't flinch at human trafficking or genocide. He has no rules, no limits. He is your new best friend.
The cells of this organism have to adapt to the quickly increasing vibrations, or look for another playground in the universe where they can still play with the concept of separation. Therefore, not only will East and West unite within the living planet Earth as two halves of the brain, but also the two parts of the human brain will join. At last, all opposites will combine their efforts, and light and darkness will complement each other on a higher level.
What?
In welchem Zusammenhang stehen die telepathischen Botschaften?
What is the relation between the telepathic messages that people should meditate?
Man, I'm glad they decided to translate this alien gibberish into a language that I could understand.
Of the extraterrestrials or the gods of Eden? Well, to a certain extent, the extraterrestrials are sending these messages. The person who has the mediumistic faculties receives the message not only from masters and certain individual beings, but also from the Space Brotherhood. The Space Brotherhood is very...
Oh man, I missed the Space Brotherhood. It's good to have them back in the story.
To help us on Earth to make the transformation. Could one say that the extraterrestrials, or the Eden gods, as they are always described, bear a relation with our archetypal god figures? Yes, absolutely, because at times, when we did not know that they were travelling extraterrestrials, they were simply considered to be the entities coming from the sky, and thus they were gods to the inhabitants of the earth. When do you think will the extraterrestrials officially make contact with this planet?
I was making a joke about the German language, I'm sorry.
It will not be long.
The ascent of ancient cultures. Long before our time, other cultures have experienced...
This music is copyrighted, I can feel it in my brain.
Mostly only sun illuminations were possible, because the physical immortality...
You know what this music reminds me of? You know what this music reminds me of? Return to Innocence. You know? Hi, 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 hey, 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 yo. This is the return to
in
innocence.
Old cosmologies, we can find only descriptions of the bodies of light of the enlightened.
I'm not the only one who thinks that. I'm
People can
sorry.
only be guided
I
towards
apologize.
reaching greater devotion to their inner God through many reincarnations. That way, they increase the vibration of their chakras.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Reincarnation is the path of slowly opening up to a new consciousness.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Advanced souls, like the masters, were so transparent that one could see a glow around their bodies. This was shown as a halo in old paintings.
Oh, well, it's a really good song.
The cosmos and increasing frequency was the first step on the way home. Matter increased its vibration frequency on the way home to the light.
It's the blue titty lady. It's good to see her again.
The heart chakra is actually what I feel is the gateway between the lower and the higher bodies. But we
Chakras. If I wanted to hear about chakras, I'd watch Naruto.
The dimensions back to source energies.
If I wanted to hear about chakras, I'd watch Naruto.
By simply aligning them, we have the physical manifestation, which we see as our molecular structure of our body, which is quite dense, but we also exist on many higher, finer frequencies through to source energy. That energy exists within, and the chakras, those energy centers, connect us all the way through to that highest source energy and frequency of being. The heart center is the center through which that divine love flows from the higher dimensions through into the lower bodies.
All of our thoughts influence not only the outside world via the morphogenetic resonance field, otherwise described as our united, universal superbeing, but also our inner microcosmos.
Yep.
Our thoughts, depending on the origin of their level of consciousness, activate the chakras. These in turn determine
Earthworm Jim, I see.
Frequency, which in the end plays a vital role in the hormonal balance and metabolism, as well as in other bodily functions.
Oh god, this is making me sleepy. I too have tornadoes coming out of my head.
7 heavens of consciousness within us. The risen masters of earlier cultures were aware of consciousness within us. The risen masters of earlier.
Why did I hear the rising masters? Why did I hear the rising masters?
Like man, the planetary structure has 7 bodies. These 7 bodies are also called the 7 zones of consciousness, or 7 dimensions.
Living in the 6th dimension can be rough.
Or 7 doors of energy which attract spiritual energies from the inner cosmos. These doors of energy move together with the psyche and the entire human consciousness. Every opening within the human consciousness increases the speed of the chakras. This opening up of the cosmic flower grails permits the body to acquire a higher electrical.
Whoa! Was that a dong?
More etheric energy. Thus, the human body has 2 sources of energy supply: the combustion engine and the cosmic motor of resonance.
I don't think we actually know what the 12 colors meanings are actually either.
When the doorway of the 1111 closes, what happens is those 2 overlap spirals of evolution will now separate, and we will again wait eons for another opportunity like this beautiful one that we're given right now. For those of us who did choose to live in oneness, we will find that we are now aligned with a greater central sun system. Planet Earth will be making this journey with us, and the first stop along the way, on the other side of the door, so to speak, is what we call Octave 11. And Octave 11 is when there'll be
Octave 11.
Building on the new, great creativity, totally new forms of everything. There will be some beings who reach Octave 7 who will say, well, I'm not really so interested in this, I'd like to still yet go further. So a small group of beings will join together in the middle of Octave 7 and unify into an even deeper oneness and continue on the homeward journey to
I got nothing interesting to say.
we call Octave 11. Over the years, as we've been awakening, there's been a great deal of discussion about our light bodies, and we somewhere we have these elusive light bodies. And of course, we've been reading books how to find our light body and doing special practices and exercises and eating certain foods so we can find these elusive parts of our beings. And the big joke, of course, is that we've been wearing our light bodies all along. We have them here. For so long, we thought we had this physical body with this little tiny flame.
It was me, Austin! I was the light body all along, Austin! It was me, Austin!
You see that all along we've been wearing these vast bodies of light. And
it was me, Austin! It was me all along!
So we're going to be stepping more and more into what we call the invisible. The invisible, the unseen, is going to be seen by us. And that means living our lives more consciously in our bodies of light, bringing it all down.
It's me, Austin! Oh, son of a bitch! It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
The higher self helps us with the process of completion. If man keeps on communicating with his cosmic monad and listening to his
the cosmic what now?
With his cosmic monad.
Okay, just want to be.
The person will be reborn in the spirit.
I don't know, actually.
The higher understanding will open to him from the inner cosmos. And
I don't know if we've gotten to the guy who sounds like he's higher than a kite.
Then man develops into a superhuman.
Man, I would like some superhuman powers from the Space Brothers and the 12 Colors and the magnetism and the Christ consciousness and all this shenaniganery.
He is able to read from the universal Akashic records. The Akashic records are all the saved linear knowledge of the past, the future, as well as the development of the cosmos and its plans. Humans who have reached this state were called the Enlightened Ones. These people have dedicated their lives to the universal serving of mankind. The total opening of these chakras
Donkey Kong-ass music
meant that the atoms within man also could not keep the energy on a physical level anymore. The completion was an ascension into a spiritual dimension. Some masters have been taken on board light spaceships by extraterrestrials. Other masters, however, of whom no grave can be found, have mastered the physical ascension. They opened the 7 seals and rose into a higher state of consciousness, owing to their activated light body.
I think the majority of humanity on this planet are aware that there are other beings, what we'd call extraterrestrials.
Oh, my sweet Jesus.
Some of these extraterrestrials are just future humans who have crossed through simultaneous time. But we on this level are bound by linear time. But when
I really don't want to do another part of this.
Higher frequencies.
I really don't want to do another Atlantis part.
Also, too, when you move into
but I'm starting to feel brain pudding hour.
You become aware of what we term beings of light. In other words, other expressions of the divine that live and exist in many other realms. The universal brotherhoods are here at this time in service to humanity. They have said that we have been in kindergarten, that our conscious awareness has been too low to be invited to join what is called the Intergalactic Federation of Worlds.
Okay, the United Federation of Planets, gotcha. Sure, that's Star Trek.
As we bring through that shift,
Mr. Worf, they have not entered the 5th dimension, Mr. Worf.
And literally grow up, learning to treat each other with love, harmony, acceptance, unconditional love, recognizing the uniqueness of all and our individual contribution. When we have achieved that, we will then be invited to join the Universal Brotherhoods.
The Easter Island statues tell the story of ascending Lemurian masters who achieved ascension at a very old age.
What?
Fearing for the loss of their authority, our religious organizations and the secret connections to the lodge first destroyed or rather falsified the remains and the true evidence of the wooden and stone tablets of the Easter Islands and then the Alexandrian Library, many other testimonies of time, and the true message of Christ. This message may be new. We are all Christ, sons and daughters of God, who have an immortal soul, and moreover, when we have reached completion, we become immortal with a universal body.
The issue of androgyny is very important at this time upon the planet, simply because, as we can see, there is a need to balance the male and female energies to create complete balance and harmony. The energy that sustains us, that God essence, is androgynous, and we actually have, in fact, masculine and feminine expression of energy within us. A lot of people
so the Space Brothers say trans rights. Not only do the Space Brothers say trans rights, but they say everyone is non-binary, baby. Good to know that the Space Brothers are cool like that. Good to know that the Space Brothers are cool like that. Good to know the Space Brothers are cool like that.
How does immortality function in the new millennia? Immortality can be looked at many different ways. Most people are familiar with the immortality of the soul. However, as we tune to the higher frequencies, the higher octaves of light, many of us are now becoming aware that we're also physically immortal, that we can control cellular regeneration and degeneration, and that there is absolutely no requirement for the physical body to either age or die. We, the light workers, have very specific roles to play at this point in Earth's history, and I myself would rather finish the work that I have to do here than take my physical body up into light, or just leave it when I'm ready. To allow the physical body to age and decay, for me, is simply poor time management, when there are many tools and techniques and a natural state of beingness that can occur as we tune to the light energies and allow that God essence, the Christ consciousness within, to step forward.
That's nice, lady.
After the chakras of a person have opened up, this person overcomes all physical laws and thus becomes one with the universe and a lawmaker himself.
Sure, yeah, whatever.
When the inner and outer cosmos are in unison, heaven and earth will be one. Men are the gods who are on their way home to their source, which in turn is themselves.
We're not. I'm sorry. We're not going back. I can't go back. This music sounds very copyrighted to me. Wait, is it over? Are we done? We finished it!
Legend of Atlantis was an island.
We did it! We did it, America!
In the area we now call the Atlantic.
Woo!
So great an area of land that from
This feels copyrighted music. Well, shh! The credits are rolling. The credits are rolling. The credits are rolling. Let me have my victory, please. Let me say that I've done it. Let me just say that we've done the thing. Let me just pretend, please.
the Atlantean culture. The antediluvian kings.
Yeah, this sounds very copyrighted music. I have an idea. One moment. Okay, enough of the Donkey Kong music.
An island which lay before the great flood.
Let's get back
With
to
the
the...
4 dimensions, God is the 5th dimension and
Okay,
exists
sure.
beyond the pyramid. This is why the last stone of each 4-faced
Man,
pyramid
this
is missing.
post-credit scene is going to go on for quite a while.
Hence, the stone of completeness
I hope we
is
get to see the
unification
Space
of
Brothers
man
in
with the
person at the
Creator in
post-credit
5th
scenes
dimension.
join the Avengers.
That is the reason why human beings have 5 fingers. They are created for the 5th dimension.
The reality of massive engineering tools in Egypt, of course, is something that is not presently known. The existence of huge interior structures with mathematical precision that range in size from some 20 centimeters for the air shafts to the massive chambers known as the King's and Queen's Chamber that require blocks of some 2 to 20 tons apiece, suggest a parent technology that is no longer known to our present Western society. When the documentary Mysteries of the Sphinx was being made, the engineers asked themselves, how could these massive blocks be moved into position? It was obvious from special consultants who were moving upwards of 200 tons that there was no present technology that could take these very large, massive blocks from the quarries and move them up some
I have
480
nothing else
feet
to
above
say.
the surface of the Earth, unless there was a superior apparent technology.
I think we're done.
Specialist in hypersonic vibrations in New York and Chicago, it was suggested that a type of vibratory source, perhaps a quarter of a mile in length, would have to be necessary as some airborne platform that would require the vibratory
Man, that looks like from the
mechanisms
movie
necessary to
Stargate.
move these large blocks into place. Certainly, our use of certain sound techniques inside the chambers show that the Great Pyramid is a type of vibratory laser, and if it can be activated properly, in my interpretation, could allow us to understand how certain sound structures...
The vibratory
can move massive
laser!
blocks of stone.
The high priests used the pyramids as initiation temples because the energy inside the pyramids was so powerful that students or neophytes, through meditation, were carried into a different dimension of consciousness. The student, with his physical body and senses, was moved into a higher world. Thus, he could perceive the spiritual world. Until this very day, another great secret remains. The pyramids were used as natural doors of dimension gates, as openings and doors leading to the inner earth.
I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if I can take much more of this. Oh, hey, it's the Hollow Earth disk theory. Good to see you, Snowball Earth.
As things are on a small scale, so they are on a large scale. Hermes Trismegistus
With the ice
thought that
wall and
everything in
everything.
the universe is set up according to the same organizational plan. One could say that the Earth is like a huge atom, hollow inside, with a nucleus at the center which represents the inner sun. Just as we humans do not see the outer curve of the globe, one is not able to perceive the inner curve when entering Hypereia, the legendary lost crystal cities of Agartha. The initiated were able to get in touch with the civilizations of the inner Earth through gates. Until the sinking of Atlantis, this was general knowledge.
Plato in his book, the Timaeus, speaks about a earlier civilization,
The tomatoes.
a race of godlike beings, at least 9,000 years before the time of the peoples of Athens. He also speaks of how the great historian Solon refers to Egypt as a colony of Atlantis. It is clear from
Sure, yeah,
evidences
whatever.
we have
Egypt is
recently made
Atlantis.
in Mesoamerica, specifically in Guatemala, with the ancient canal system that we have uncovered through remote sensing radar, that it was there in Central America where north and south tectonic plates meet, where there are great statues called the Atlans, that there was indeed some type of civilization that could be called Atlantean. Clearly the evidence is in Egypt of great structures beneath the sands of Giza, as well as the evidences of great structures beneath Gobi in the Far East, suggest that Atlantean models of higher intelligence were over the earth at a much earlier historic period, suggesting that Atlantis was a type of civilization rather than a specific place of people, technology, worship, and belief.
Where is the entrance to the inner earth? My feeling is that these are openings several hundred kilometers wide, not more than that. One on the North Pole, one on the South Pole. They may exist in a different dimension. They may be made visible at will or from time to time, depending on certain cosmic and terrestrial conditions. These are more of speculation. However, I know.
Oh, is this jabroni?
Polar flights are forbidden to fly straight over the pole. They always deviate.
Yes, because they're magnetic.
After a very suspicious.
Because they're magnetic and they will affect the navigation system of the plane.
Airliner, chartered airliner in late 70s, early 80s that was supposed to fly over the South Pole looking for the opening of the inner Earth.
After Atlantis, only a few native Indians on the Amazon River and the Hopi Indians knew of the entrances to huge underground cities.
Oh boy!
They reported that shortly before the cyclical end of humankind, the seed for the next humankind was brought to safety in the inner earth by beings. Human beings with white and bluish skin and golden angelic hair, who traveled in flying saucers from the inner earth.
What? Okay?
Last century, various scientists searched for the pole openings. Accordingly, the South Pole is supposed to be the head chakra of the Earth and have an enormous pole opening. The North Pole would be the root chakra. During this century, two great efforts were made to find these pole openings and to make contact with the extraterrestrial races who built the underground cities within the Earth. The first expedition was led by Admiral Byrd before the Second World War. The second was carried out by the secret Tula organization, which pulled the strings behind the Nazis.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Expeditions were successful. Byrd discovered the
Also, I thought it was Thule. I thought it was pronounced Thule. Not Tool, like the band Tool. Okay, I have a question for you, Cosby. When I'm done with this, but is there a shorter documentary or something you'd like me to look at on stream? Something that's preferably like 2 hours long?
This is an expedition.
I'm not doing Homunculus. That's 10 hours long. My brain and soul cannot handle that. My body, my mind, my very essence of my being cannot handle a 10-hour thing.
National Geographic magazine would not give any clue to the real intention of that expedition. However, recently we discovered a unique documentary film in color, 1 hour long, made by the U.S. Navy.
I understand if I come off as an asshole.
Operation that involved an aircraft carrier.
Also, please, someone in that background, stop masturbating. I can hear you. It sounds like someone is loudly masturbating in the background.
It involved 4,000
I'm sorry, but it does.
Troops. And the rumor is that there were also British and Russian contingents within these 4,000 troops. It was a massive naval operation. It was not, as it has been presented to the public, that it was a peaceful expedition to explore the natural resources of the South Pole. they descended to Little America, which is the place of the previous Admiral Byrd landings on the South Pole. And then they started a massive overflight over the whole area of the South Pole, trying to locate the German base that was established there almost 10 years earlier. The Germans started somewhere in 1936-37 seriously exploring the South Pole, and by the time the war ended, the rumor is that they have established a massive underground colony with at least 100,000 scientists, researchers, elite SS troops, children from Hitlerjugend, young boys and girls that were to become the seed of this new and colony. That
what is more interesting, this or Bionicle lore? I've only seen very little of the Bionicle lore video you posted. I need to sit down and finish that one day.
In Africa,
I need to sit down and just watch as much of the Bionicle lore as I can handle in one day.
Of very grotesque beings who, according to the Indian and shamanistic tradition,
I feel like if I sat down and just watched 1 hour of it every day, I'd have it finished in, well, 2 weeks.
Survival.
Well,
it is clear in the folklore and literature of the major continents of our planet that some of the races went into the earth. I brought with me from Africa pictures of these grotesque serpent-like beings.
Serpent-like.
Many of them correspond to the extraterrestrial reports and photographs of some of these so-called snake people or serpent people. It is very clear also that there was the survival of the ancestry of the Adamic race, referred to in our scriptures, as well as in the teachings of the Hungarian and German people that came out of the Gobi area. It is in this area of Lap Nor that we have recently found evidences of an earlier European type humanity that did survive some type of cataclysm according to the myths of the Far East. We have thus in our tradition a vast folklore, anthropology, and cosmology that connect the peoples of this planet with that of other worlds.
The Nazis were better informed by the secret esoteric orders.
No, you don't get to say that. You don't get to say that. No, just no. No, you don't get to say that.
Expeditions involved searching for the entrances into the inner world and the lost techniques of the gods. That is, UFOs, the Ark of the Covenant, and much more. Thus, films like Indiana Jones are not mere fiction. German expedition in search of Agatha.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to
correlations
stop
of the 19th century and of the Third Reich are hidden nowadays under a veil of the past.
I do not need to hear about the Nazis again, thank you.
For a while, Dietrich Eckart lived at the foot of the mountain Untersberg and was initiated into the medieval mysteries and into the legends of caves. Adolf Hitler spent many hours with Dietrich Eckart.
We not need. No, thank you, please, and just no, thank you.
Theory of Hans Erbinger. The Untersberg was already considered by the Templars to
Hollow
be
cube Earth,
access to the inner Earth and to the legendary Hollow World. Thus, there are stories of the disappearances of people in the Untersberg and how 60 years
later, yeah, they died in a cave,
surfaced without having aged. Other German legends deal with the myth of the end of the world. In the legends, King Barbarossa is asleep in the mountain, and after hundreds of years, he rises up with his knights for the last battle at the end of time, in order to help good triumph.
I'm speaking now as a scientist. I do not want to confuse subsurface temples and grottos and structures of civilizations that go down approximately a mile or two from the surface of the earth with the so-called inner earth theory. In my work in Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia, it is clear that there are vast tunnel systems that go hundreds of kilometers under the mountains, allowing the Indian peoples to connect between national borders. We know also between Mexico and New Mexico in North America that the Indians have a subterranean system of corridors that allow the tribal federations from North America to meet.
Well, this is probably
even
better than the
privately,
Game
without
Awards,
notifying
which
the
are going to
Mexican or
happen
Mexican
tomorrow night.
authorities. Clearly, these structures are there as a result of some type of volcanic activity or catastrophic event some 28 million years ago, as we have measured in areas of North Mexico, where the surface of
Yes,
the earth
the
changed,
KY, the
volcanic
KT event, you know.
openings and porous materials to construct, as it were, underground cavities. Into these cavities, members of the human society found shelter from the noxious poisons and gases and orders of destruction that took place rather suddenly. If we look at our planetary system, there's an obvious grid
There
of
weren't
underground
people
cavities,
28
from the areas of the Gobi
million
areas of
years
Central
ago.
Asia to the areas of Malta in the Mediterranean to areas even of the mountains of Untersberg in Central Europe, Mont Blanc, Jungfrau, to areas we have specifically worked with seismology in central North Mexico, and also areas of the Andes. Peru, Ecuador, and Bolivia in particular have underground structures that run for hundreds of kilometers. In Southeast Asia, we know that these structures also exist in the areas of Sumatra, Borneo, and Indonesia. Clearly, throughout the world, there are major areas which seem to be contact points with parallel evolution.
Dietrich Eckart shaped Hitler's thinking more than we can
I
imagine.
really don't want to hear about
He also
Hitler, I'm
directed him
sorry.
towards a mediumistic education and showed him how to make contact with the spiritual world, in particular with the Germanic gods and the ancient Hyperia people from Agartha. Thus, the leader became a guided one who communicated with the spiritual world and the masters of Agartha. Only when he had developed these mediumistic attributes to the full did Dietrich Eckart propagate the idea of a leader, Führer, in the Tula Society and in the popular esoteric circles.
I'm going to skip this Hitler bullshit.
Who had contact with the Star People.
I'm going to skip the Hitler
Tragically,
bullshit,
Karl
I'm
Brugger
sorry.
was killed by someone in the Brazilian establishment who felt he had too much information on the Indian civilizations and perhaps knew too much about the genocide against the Indian peoples taking place. I dedicated my book, The Sphinx on Mars, to Karl Brugger, and in this book,
didn't they find out that the Sphinx on Mars was just like a shadow?
The pyramid structures on Mars, as well as
didn't they just show them that these were rocks? Didn't they just prove that they were rocks with like probe footage and shit?
Historic connection between the
I remember there was like an uproar
of
about
energy
this like a
places
few years
marked by
ago, if I
pyramids and
remember
temples,
correctly. I'm
and
sorry.
those of other planetary bodies. Karl Brugger was one of the great historians, journalists, and humanists of the 20th century. It is very important for each of us to try to get in contact with his teaching, his legacy, because it forms the connecting link between the Indian peoples, the earlier Atlantean-type peoples, or what is called in Central America the Atlans, the great giants who are blonde, and the European peoples, to show a connecting bridge between civilizations and centuries. The chronic also refers to the
Sphinx is
coming of the extraterrestrial peoples, according to the
thank you, that made me laugh.
at the beginning of the 21st century. Due to the misuse of science, the destruction of the planetary environment, the imbalance of knowledge, what we call Western civilization, the Untergang des Auslands.
Yeah, sure, whatever, lady.
To a quick change with the appearance of the Star People. And for this reason, we must keep our eyes and ears open to the signs from space of a new communication system, connected also with the teachings of the Indian peoples.
The South American Indians of the Andes recognize UFOs as brothers from the sky who have always been there, who are there today.
Ah, the Space
They
Brothers.
Are not any more unique than an airliner flying overhead with passengers aboard. To them, the brothers from the sky have always been there. They do make contact with the Indians, and they do treat people in remote areas where they cannot get to doctors. They heal them, they treat them medically, they interact with the Indians and with primitive people, both in the high plains and the mountaintops and in the deep jungles. So when we began asking about these brothers from the sky, we discovered stories about such contacts everywhere. And in the course of one of these stories, we were introduced to an Indian from the upper Amazon. I think his name was Akunta, but I am not sure at the present time, who offered to take us back into a civilization that he came from that was primarily based on a European culture that was transported there or transposed there sometime about the end of World War II, and they had taken
transposed, you say,
and scientific research underground in an area in the upper Amazon where they had succeeded in developing disc-shaped aerial vehicles that they could use to go all over the world.
Desk-based aerial vehicles, you say.
The society was, this Indian called the society Akakor. He said that he had guided a German
Akakor, if you
researcher
say,
by the name of Brugger, and I think his name was Martin Brugger, B-R-U-G-G-E-R, who was actually taken to the city and was afforded an opportunity to meet with some of the Europeans there. That Indian tribe in that area has many blue-eyed, blonde-haired Indians, and they appear to be descendants of a Germanic a group of people that were taken there sometime in the middle 1940s, and now they have produced children and they are young adults, and the society is flourishing there that is advanced over the contemporary society around them by
I don't need
substantial
Hitler
degrees.
bullshit. I don't need the Hitler bullshit. Please, can we get away from the Hitler
There's
bullshit?
a man who lives in that area. His name is
be nice.
A.J.
I'm sorry.
Gaillard, who will be willing to introduce us to either the Indian that guided Martin Brugger or other Indians from the same tribe.
Martin Brugger sounds like Martin Luther King. I'm sorry, I got nothing funny. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Society. It's operated as a closed society. They do not come out down the river and enter Western civilization.
Down by the
They
riverside.
come out in their spacecraft and pick up what they need and take it back into the
Down
society.
by
And they
the
live
riverside.
in a closed environment, pretty much protected by the wilderness of the jungle itself. So it's possible to go back and further investigate the evidence of the existence of Akakor at any time. We can produce people who can do this. We can look at Mr. Brugger's evidence that he published, which was the result of his own research. But I personally am convinced
down
that
by
this
the riverside,
that they have circular disc-shaped craft, that they fly and operate them there, and perhaps some of the disc-shaped craft that we are discovering in the reports of the Indian aboriginals of the highlands of the upper plateau there may be some of the vehicles from Akakor. We also know that many of the vehicles that they describe are not from Akakor, that they come from elsewhere. Some of them are extraplanetary. They come from beyond this planet.
God.
And they have unique technologies, and they have human...
Okay, I'm making it an executive level decision. When we get to 5 hours in, I'm calling this stream a day. And then tomorrow we will finish the Space Brother haha funny thing. I can feel my body just not, I can't. I know more. Thank you. I've had enough of the Space Brotherhood show for the day. Thank you.
These humans are interacting with the natives down there also, and there is substantial evidence that these extraterrestrial races are directly connected with the earlier civilizations of Tiwanaku, of the Olmecs, of a number of the other earlier civilizations in South America at a time before the last cataclysmic disturbances that changed all the society and reduced it to savagery once more.
A further expedition was sent to the South Pole, Expedition Schwabenland, in order to find the land with no ice and to explore the access to the inner Earth. Another expedition was sent to the Icelandic geysers, since there were insider stories about the access to the inner Earth.
Okay, I'm going to make you a promise. Tomorrow we're finishing this. So, what would you like to see to sign us off? Because I can't. I need. I can feel the 42 minutes that this thing will last me just barreling at me at the speed of Mach stupid. So, would you like something funny or a national anthem to sign us off? Would you like something funny or a national anthem to sign us off? I'd like. I really do mean it. I'll let you decide. So if you have anything funny or something you'd like to sign us off on, let me know. Tomorrow we're finishing this probably. Okay, we're going to do a national anthem to sign us off on. I'd like to thank the fine people of Aruba for sponsoring this stream. No, no one actually does sponsor this stream. It's not, it's a joke. It's meant to be a laugh. I'd like to thank all of you for coming. Thank you, Aruba. Tomorrow, probably this, and that'll be the end of this Haha Funny Alien Boy stream. Thank you all for coming. It means a lot to me that people come to these streams. It really does. Yeah. Goodbye, Joe.